And then, as I say, I met this other guy, and we became friends. And he had a Super Nintendo, and he had pretty much every game that came out when it came out. Even on import, he had Street Fighter 2 on import, which cost him like £100 at the time, which is ridiculous. I can't believe he paid that. That was the American edition. And I just remember we were all crammed in his bedroom, and his 21-inch TV, and there's a load of us there just taking it in turns, you know, player stays on sort of thing. And, oh, genius, absolute brilliant game. And so I really wanted to get a Super Nintendo, and my parents wouldn't buy one because, as far as I was concerned, it's a games console. What's the point? It's not educational in any way, and all you're doing is playing games. And the game cartridges are far too expensive, which was a very fair point looking back now. But at the time, I really wanted one, and so I had to buy it myself. So did the old paper round, and took me 10 weeks on a paper round to get £10 a week, and the console was £100 at the time with Mario World. So yeah, it took 10 weeks to save up, buy the console, and absolutely fantastic. Now, I never had a lot of games because of the price, but I had games like Super Pro Protector, or in America it's called Contra 3. Also had like, was it Castlevania 4 was one I had. I don't think I had Turtles in Time. I'm not sure when that came out, so I don't know why I didn't have that. There must have been a reason why. But I had a good selection. Yeah, I had Mario World. Don't know if I had Mario Kart. It's really hard to remember what games I did have, and I just didn't have a lot. But the games I had, I really enjoyed, and like most of us back then, used to play the games to death because you couldn't afford to go out and buy another one tomorrow because it took weeks to save up. But yeah, the Super Nintendo was an absolutely fantastic part of my life. I was never really into the Mega Drive. I dabbled, I did have one at one point, but I was never really a massive fan. The Super Nintendo just blew me away, and it was far superior in my opinion at the time. Yeah, then after the Super Nintendo, I'm trying to think now, it was all a bit, I'm not entirely certain what happened then, because somehow I ended up with a PlayStation 1, and I still don't know to this day why I got a PlayStation 1, or if I bought it or my parents bought it for me. I'm assuming at that point I would have probably bought it myself, but I really don't remember. I was discussing this with my dad the other day, and neither of us can remember why I got one, or when I got one, or how I got one. It's really strange, I don't understand that at all. But I just remember having a PS1, and it was just an absolute stunning bit of kit. Really amazing console at the time. I mean, absolutely, to go from a Super Nintendo to a PlayStation was just like bloody hell. We got 3D graphics for the start, and yeah, they did look a bit dated now, but at the time it was really impressive. And it never really crossed my mind that it was Sony as well. You look back at the press from the time, and they're all like the word Microsoft, when they came into the gaming industry, it was like, what the hell does Sony know about gaming? They ain't got a clue, and well, they proved everybody wrong, didn't they? I also had an N64, and that was, I don't know when I had an N64, I can't remember if I bought that before or after the PlayStation. It's really hazy this period of time, I don't know, I'm not entirely certain, but yeah, the N64 I picked up from Toys R Us, if I remember correctly. Because I remember seeing, they had one of those podium things and it had Diddy Kong Racing on. I was really impressed with that, it looked really cool. For some random reason I bought an N64, God knows why. All I had was Mario World, Mario 64, and then I later got GoldenEye, and that was all I had for it. I just used to play GoldenEye every day. I was obsessed with that game. Yeah, then I eventually sold that, and my PlayStation was my main system for a long time. I'm actually thinking that maybe I bought the N64, sold that, then bought a PS1. That probably sounds about right. It's really hard to remember, but that probably did make sense actually that I did do that. I also, then I had the PS1 for quite a while. Now I'm trying to think, the PlayStation 2 came in 2001. I think it was 2001, wasn't it? I'm pretty certain. But I remember the Dreamcast wasn't even on the radar of like me and my friends. I'd never even heard of the bloody system at the time. It was all about PS2, and it was just constantly, this is like early days of the internet, and we were like searching online, like 56k modem style, which was just terrible. Trying to find out as much information as we can on the PlayStation 2. I remember like seeing like the first screenshots of Time Splitters, and it just looked so unbelievable. It was such a jump. I mean, you're going from 32-bit to 128-bit. They totally missed the 64. So the graphics were just phenomenal. And the PlayStation 2 was ridiculous because I think they only released 500,000 units, and I think it was to Europe. I don't think it was to the UK. I'm pretty certain it was only 500,000 to Europe, which is such a tiny amount. I hope I'm right there, and it wasn't just 500,000 to the UK, but either way, it's a small amount for us anyway. But I remember the pre-order system was murder. And me and my friend Steve, we didn't pre-order till the last minute. It was really late pre-ordered. And we got in there, pre-ordered. We finally found a shop at HMV that could allow us to pre-order because all the pre-orders were booked up by this point. I remember like sitting at work waiting and the first batch of game consoles came in and we didn't get those. And I was thinking, shit, I'm going to get one now, it's going to be ages. And they said like a couple of months. And I remember the one day just sitting at work and my mate Steve found me up and he's like, I've just had a call from HMV. And I was like, holy shit, what? And he's like, yeah, they've got my system in stock, have they phoned you yet? And I was like, no, I ain't heard nothing. And I was like, oh crap. And I thought, I bet they're going to call me at home. I was like, oh bloody hell. So I got the phone number from HMV, phoned them up and they went, yeah, we got yours here if you want to come pick it up. I was like, oh shit. So like me and Steve, like, you know, just got it together, got in his car, went over there, picked up the systems and the games, and wow, I mean, I was so impressed with the system at the time. I remember getting it home, playing like Tekken Tag and Silent Scope and Time Splitters, and it was just phenomenal. Really enjoyed the PS2 to start with. Even the DVD at the time was a great addition to have because DVD was not so commercially acceptable. You know, it was still expensive equipment to buy, so to get PlayStation 2 for DVD drive, superb. And then I remember getting Grand Theft Auto 3, which was like a major benchmark. I mean, taking the game into 3D was special. But I just remember playing the game for the first time. The first time it rained was just like, wow. It was just like jaw-dropping graphical moment. It was just awesome. I was so impressed with the PlayStation 2. Really liked it. Now, after the PlayStation 2, I remember I sold the system because the Xbox was coming out and I was totally convinced that the Xbox was going to be the next big thing, despite the fact that Microsoft had no clue about gaming at all. Well, I mean, no, that's not true. They did obviously on the PC, but not console gaming. It was a completely new field for them. And everyone was expecting just a PC in a box, which is not a bad thing. Now, I know at one point I did actually buy a Dreamcast at the end of its life cycle. Now I'm thinking it's probably after I sold the PlayStation 2 and I was having a stopgap, because I remember coming home from work the one night and I decided to stop off at Argos, and they had a couple of Dreamcasts left, literally a couple of boxed brand new systems left, and I picked one up and I was actually quite surprised how good the system was because I didn't really expect a lot from it. And I played Crazy Taxi, which was phenomenal. I remember I got really hooked on Matt Hoffman's BMX. I absolutely loved that game. I did just play that like constantly every day. Yeah, I was really impressed with the Dreamcast. It was a real nice, easy, as it is now, it's a nice, easy pick up and play game console. It's very much arcadey in that respect. There's not so many games where you have to play in depth and sit there for hours on end like you do with the PlayStation or the Xbox 360. It's you just pop the game in, play for half an hour and you're satisfied, and I like that. That's a really good thing about the system. And so I got rid of that anyway. And then I say the Xbox One was coming out, and the only reason that I sold my PlayStation 2 to buy an Xbox was because of Grand Theft Auto 3. I was convinced that if that wasn't coming out to the Xbox, and there was a lot of speculation whether it would or wouldn't, if it didn't come out I wasn't going to swap systems because I thought, no way, I love that game too much. And then I read online that Amazon had got a pre-order for Grand Theft Auto 3 Xbox edition. I thought, brilliant. So, sold my PlayStation 2, as I say, I had a Dreamcast in between. And then I pre-ordered an Xbox from Amazon. Then, unfortunately, they took the date and changed it on Grand Theft Auto 3, and it looked as though it wasn't going to come out. I was like, oh shit, what have I done? Have I made a mistake? But, it was too late then, so I took the risk. And launch day comes, bloke comes to the door on launch day, massive box with my Xbox console, and I had Rally Sport Challenge, Dead or Alive 3, Halo, Munchies Odyssey. I had a really good selection of games, and I remember getting the system out of the box, really excited. I mean, I couldn't contain my excitement. Even the delivery guy was like, look at how well I'm excited there, mate. But I was like, oh, brilliant. I remember setting up the system, and the first couple of games I played were like Rally Sport Challenge and Dead or Alive 3, which just blew my socks off because the graphics, like the water effects, the lighting, just everything was stunning. And then I popped in Halo, and that was it, man. It was like, yeah, I did make the right decision because the Xbox is stunning. That game is just mind blowing. I remember my friends coming around who are like PlayStation fans and just seeing Halo and be like, holy shit. Which, I converted one of my friends and he became an Xbox fan, and he still is a massive Xbox fan to this day, so that was quite good. And so I had the Xbox for quite a while.